Well, folks, it comes to this point. It's the culmination of a year's work. I had to bring this guy in. How could I not? Joker, my brother. Batman animated series is the goat, and
Oh
yeah,
yes.
it is.
I
It's
mean, arguably, one of the best animated series of all time.
I can't take anyone serious who doesn't put it at least in the top. Like I mean, if you don't want it number one, that make your arguments. But if
Right.
it starts to fall outside of if people try to put like five of them ahead of it, I start to
Oh
question
no, no,
their
no, 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 no.
criteria. Like, what is your criteria on judging them? Then I don't totally connect. This is so cinematic. Their worst episodes are better than most TV. Like it's just
Yeah.
the worst episodes are still like a B minus, a C. Like it's still
Right.
so strong compared to some of the stuff that's out there. So,
I mean,
um,
I mean, I mean, I mean, for me, and just that year, 1992, you had
mhm,
this. You
mhm.
had the X-Men come out.
Yep,
You had
Animaniacs.
Animaniacs,
Yeah,
which Animaniacs I think is one of the most brilliant cartoons ever.
one most underrated shows of all time, and I still struggle with how am I going to do a review because some of my favorite elements of that are musical and stuff. So they're going to be copyright. So there's no way to really give people who've never seen it a dose of like how good this is. Like,
Right.
yeah. Anyway, so but no, yes, Batman animated series. It was overwhelming to look back at the 60 episodes and try to figure out how to parse some of that out. So I'm going to throw that to you while I try to pull up this tier maker thing. I don't
Okay.
like these things. I've done it once or twice. We will see
I
how it goes.
don't blame you.
Yeah, yeah, they're more convoluted and weird than they are anything else. So we'll throw it over here. We'll move you to the
Oh,
top so everybody can
oh,
see you.
oh! Wow,
Yeah,
dear
they
God,
put
that's
the
a lot of episodes. Wow, that's a lot of
and
episodes.
again, I stopped at season one, so I did 60 episodes. So
Oh,
there's still at least another 30 or so to go.
right.
So, all right, before we get into it, give me one of your top four or five.
You can't. You can't talk about this series without talking Heart of Ice. That is literally one of the best episodes of TV cartoons. Not even just cartoons of TV. It
Yeah.
is when a cartoon literally redefined what is the accepted origin of a character that's been around since what, the 60s.
Yeah, certainly. I don't know exactly his first appearance off the top of my head, but I will pull it up really quickly. He was just a nonsensical type
Right.
character until this. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there was actually 1959 was his first
Wow.
appearance.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's even further
So
back than I would have. I'm glad I didn't guess because I would have been wrong. Yeah, Batman 121. And look at the difference.
and
Here, I'll pull this. I'll switch it so you guys can see at home because I know you guys are not
and
necessarily as nerdy as I
and
am on this kind of
and
stuff.
I believe he was called Mr. Zero.
Yeah, yeah, Mr. Zero. Yes. Yeah. There you go, Mr. Zero. Super super cool.
And then you got his look from the Adam West show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
And then you got the really bad depiction live action from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't even know what you're talking about. No, I mean Heart of Ice is. I mean, it was we did a whole. There's a whole segment with Copa who just that's all we
Yeah.
talked about was that one episode. We didn't even talk about any of his other favorite episodes. Any other, my other favorite episode. We only talked about Heart of Ice because it redefined the character. It changed how we looked at what villains could or couldn't do. And
Mhm.
then that final scene in Arkham where he's looking at the snow globe just breaks your heart. You're just like, oh
It does.
man, the pain and loss in a cartoon designed for children. It
The
resonates
simple,
so well. Yeah.
and then I, and then I believe from here on out, this is when we would get like the I guess it's called the trope now, the sympathetic villain.
Yeah, it definitely changed the sympathetic villain. Like they tried this a little bit. Obviously, we say this a little bit with like the Penguin story in Batman Returns.
Returns.
You do get it a little bit in some of the comic books in that late 80s, early 90s. You're seeing the precursors of it because of the anti-hero stuff like manifesting. So you're seeing
Right.
the writers dabbling with a sympathetic villain, but they were still evil. Like it was like, okay,
Yes.
they're still evil. So you were okay with them being the bad guy, but it was like the backstory was a little more believable or a little more grounded. And then
Right.
now it's kind of flipped where them being relatable and grounded is way more important than them being evil. And it's like none of us are relating to any of these villains whatsoever because it just doesn't
Right.
work. But yeah.
And I will say that Batman Returns is a fine Christmas film. I'm just saying.
Okay, so let's throw another on that to me is a softball. That's the easiest of all of them, I think, in some ways. Give me another one.
The Gray Ghost.
Gray Ghost is a good one. I gotta find it while you're discussing your love of Gray Ghost.
So this is where a hero meets his hero. This is what from the series. This is what it's kind of some of the inspiration of how Bruce Wayne views what a hero should do, and how a hero
Yeah.
how a hero will hold himself up.
I don't see their little icon for it, but if you guys remember the Gray Ghost episode, this is Bruce. Batman's investigating these toy crimes, these crimes with these toys and things like that, which are reminiscent of this show that's been discontinued called The Gray Ghost. And it cuts a flashbacks to Bruce being a child and emulating the Gray Ghost, of like being a kid that was in love with superhero. So the superhero, and of course, being voiced by Adam West makes it so special.
Yes, that's it's even better.
Yeah, I don't know where the freaking because it's not in the G's, so I don't know if there's another letter in the title of that episode or not. So, yeah, this one was so good. And I will say this too: this is one of those things where you feel like beware of the Gray Ghost. That's why I couldn't find it. So it's a B and the B's. It is sort of one of those things where it couldn't really be done in live action because of Adam West passing, or we would all feel a little bit. I don't want to say slighted, but it wouldn't live up to the expectation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just wouldn't. But yeah, I can't argue with that. It's so rewatchable. It's so moving because we're all like, because it makes us feel like that kid inside, right? Because us looking up to Batman or other characters or whoever it is, and then you're seeing, oh, well, Batman looked up to somebody. Who was that? And the best thing too was they were really clever because they came up with something very similar to the Spirit, who's one of the the most iconic early Golden Age type heroes that is sort of very
Shadow.
Influential. And the Shadow,
or the
right?
Shadow.
Yeah. So just so much of that was in this episode. Yeah, just really enjoyed it. Great choice indeed.
And I like this fact that we get to see Bruce Wayne being us.
Yeah, being a fanboy. It ends on a fanboy note, man. It ends on a great fanboy note. Just beautiful. Yeah, a lot of fun. All right. What else you got?
I can't remember the name of the episode, but the introduction of Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Because I mean, this just goes the power of fans. Harley Quinn was supposed to be like a 4-episode throwaway character, but look where she is now.
Okay. Let me see here. Which one is her best? Her in first episode. Yeah, I think it was one of these things where she's just supposed to be there, right? And it's like next thing you know, Jacob's she has a bit part in Joker's favor, right?
Yes.
Because she's the one wheeling in like the cake or the cake at the police ball, right? Is that the one you mean, or you mean like make her laugh?
Yeah.
Joker's favor.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Either one of those I think are top notch. I don't know that I put them in my very, very top tier, but I have no problem with them being in that sort of conversation. Like I had no problem whatsoever. So Let me see here. Let me put this up here. We're gonna put them
I
right
mean,
up
I
in.
mean, I am not gonna lie. I'm a Harley Quinn fan. I've loved that character since I first saw her. I'm a little skeptical about Lady Gaga playing her, but
Yeah, I don't have given it a whole lot of mind at this point. I'm at the point now with the concept of I don't know which video or panel I was on where I made a case on how I would write it to make it work. I don't know. Like Todd Phillips knows he can't make comedies, so he's devoting a whole lot of his passion and heart in these type of projects. So hopefully it'll manifest
right,
itself in a way.
right.
I think just I don't have any problem putting. Well, I don't know about the second one. The second one is the one with the dress, the condiment king and stuff. So yeah, I'm not gonna put make them laugh in that same tier. That's for sure. So all right.
The condiment king.
Yeah, yeah, the condiment king. Yeah, yeah.
Some of these villains are just they're so they're just so you gotta laugh.
Oh,
Um,
that would be my dream. I really need to find someone who wants like a story ID person, but they want to write a comic book and just do one. And I want to like almost kind of like do the ultimate universe where those are all the main villains. It's like Polka Dot Man was pulled off by James Gunn. It's possibly one of the greatest adaptations of a character from a comic book because Polka Dot Man is a complete buffoonery joke for
right.
decades, and suddenly he's actually in a movie. Like it's great. Yeah, I want Condiment Man. Absolutely. So, all right, let's give you one more pick. Let's give you one more pick.
Almost got him.
Almost got him. Yeah, yeah. My grandkids are not even out of elementary school. They are literally my wife did not even know what they meant when they said when they said, oh, we want to watch Almost Got Him, and she's like, what? She thought it was just the name of a show that she just wasn't familiar with, and I'm like, just put it on, and so that music starts, and I'm like, yes, victory is mine.
you, you,
Everyone
you were
remembers this
proud.
episode.
You were proud, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, I've got so many of them now. Well, they didn't want to. The story goes, and I forget how far along I was. I wasn't very far along, and I would download them so they would be on the big TV. So all you do is just pop the thing open, and just there they play. I didn't put a disc in, whatever. They're on the TV,
Right.
and oh, I don't want to watch Batman pops. I don't want to watch Batman. They were watching their normal. That's okay. Let's just watch one. It wasn't more than like 3 to 4 minutes in, and they're bug-eyed, glued, didn't move, and yeah. And once you got to Almost Got Him, because it's sort of like the different villains and how it's so fast paced, right? Because they're like little 5 minute snippets, right? Boom, boom,
Right.
boom, boom. Batman's winning. Batman's winning. It's like it was like it feeds into your love of this stuff. So yeah, Almost
Right.
Got Him is fantastic. Yeah.
I and I was genuinely just dying laughing this entire episode because we've all said these type of stories. We've all heard these type of stories where I caught a fish. It was this big.
Mm, mm,
Well, I threw a rock at him.
that's
It
the
was a big
best.
rock.
It catches you off guard, and then yeah, yeah. And it's one of those also where people like debate that they couldn't adapt something like that, or for him to pretend to be a character like Killer Croc or whatever, they couldn't pull it off. I would love that challenge. I would like, I don't know exactly how we're going to do this, but we're going to find a way to do this. Like, I would love
Right.
that if I can, because the number one thing I want, if I'm doing a live action project, Pops is in the room with the whiteboard. I'm like, number one is
Condiment King.
classic costume, but
Oh yeah.
the shadows. We've
Oh
got to
yeah.
be able to have the shadows. He can stand in the room and no one knows he's even there. The cape is around him. You don't know where he begins and ends. Those two elements haven't been adapted properly yet. And I think
No.
those are where we start. We start with those two things first, and then some of this other stuff will be very easy to fall into place. So,
And I think the only I mean in live action it definitely hasn't been done as well as it could, but also in animation you were the HBO Spawn series that was done perfectly as in shadows.
even I actually, spoiler alert in my video when that comes out is I actually say more so because he's able to actually do things that in the comic book he really wouldn't do. So the show on HBO actually goes beyond what he can even do in a comic book. out of bounds. I think that's his vision. So yeah,
Right.
really, really good stuff for sure. So all right, that's a good start. That's a good start. Okay, I'm gonna jump right
Thank you.
into. So if I had to pick one, I would say maybe Joker's Favor would be an A for me, not an S, but it's okay. I'm not going to fight over that. But I definitely need to get to add to that top tier for me. Oh, geez. Where'd it go? Hang on. I lost. I had the little icon. I lost it. No, it should be there. Two-Face. Where's Two-Face? There he
Oh
is.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
Two-Face is this incredible cinematic episode, especially the way it ends with part one with that imagery where you see his face for the first time. You see her reaction to the face. I can tell you that this episode, and there's a famous comic book. I did a whole video on this comic book. I didn't even know when I did the video on that comic book because our rule on when I do a Why Is It Great video is we try to pick comics that are not expensive. I didn't realize that one has become very expensive because it is so good. I did not know that. I guess it's like a $30 comic now, but they kind of like is a Two-Face annual, and it's annual number 14. It's this beautiful cover, Two-Face. Oh yeah, so yeah, that was good for me for sure.
Very cool. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
yeah, that was kind of left you on a cliffhanger. It was just kind of like, oh wow,
yeah,
when you get that iconic look of you finally see his face, and yeah, definitely,
yeah. That
definitely,
one that
definitely,
is right
definitely.
there for me. I yeah. The other one I'm going to put, I'm gonna let you decide if it needs to go to the A. I'll leave it in the A for now. I actually hold it in the S, and it's my biggest disappointment in the whole series is we never come back to him. Feet of Clay, part one, part two.
Oh,
It takes
Clayface.
it takes a character that now there are rumors that the Batman sequel, the Batman 2, whatever it'll be,
Hmm.
will have Clayface. So I said that's the direction it should go. It should go Clayface, something else, have a Robin. This is what we should do. There are some rumors. Who knows what's true or not? This defining or sort of not. I don't say it's quite as big as Mr. Freeze, obviously, because it's not, but it definitely creates something different for
Right.
Clayface that we now can see how menacing and terrorizing he could actually be. How difficult he would be to defeat.
Right. And so correct me if I'm wrong. This is kind of like Clayface's origin,
Correct.
correct? Oh
Yep.
yeah, I would definitely put that. I it's it's teetering on S tier because again, I mean we definitely have a pattern here. We've got these rogues gallery origin episodes here that just seem to kind of be the main driving force here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, I was trying to find some, just figure out kind of where they would go because there's so many good episodes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find some that kind of work for me.
So speaking of villain origins, where would you put the Man Bat origin
Yeah,
episode?
that one I'm working. I actually just saw that one, and I would say it's in a very similar situation. Oh, here's Laughing Fish. I'm pulling out some as I find them now. I'm like, okay, I found the right one
Okay.
because I'm having a hard time finding the right ones. Leather. It's leather. Oh, here's Minotaur. Got to put that one in here too. Okay, so yeah, the Man Bat one was also very, very pivotal because it really does sort of like change things a little bit of how we see Man Bat. Now, the comic book kind of caught up and surpassed us in that area, but the
Okay.
show helps. So I'm gonna probably leave it in a. I'm gonna probably leave it in an A.
Okay.
I think if somebody had it as a B, it wouldn't upset me or anything like that. Like it doesn't bother me that it'd be a little bit lower than that, but not. Oh, on. It's on Leather Wings. Okay, so I couldn't find it. I was like, where did it go? I just saw it. It's on. Oh. Here we go. Yeah, so on Leather Wings. Yeah, so it shouldn't be lower than a B. I think something's
No.
wrong if it's lower than a B. Very solid again, similar to the Clayface argument. Definitely with the way Two-Face and obviously Heart of Ice. So we have all these very definitive elevations of character. And I'm going to put the Minotaur, the Riddler. So this is the Riddler's origin, actually. Most people
Okay,
just
yeah.
remember. Most people just remember the maze, and they kind of skip over the fact that we define what Riddler in this universe will be. And he comes along. What is it, like episode 19 or 20, or it's way far into the season before
Well,
we get
yeah.
that.
Well, I'm liking the fact that we got all these episodes here, and with yours truly here talking this, and there's only really one episode that focuses on the Joker.
Yeah, I added a second one there on my
Okay.
to-do list here we're going to get to, because I can't not have Laughing Fish, because Laughing Fish
course.
sort of is in the same category with the Almost Got Him. And I'm torn because it's Laughing Fish and Christmas with Joker. They both
Yes.
So they both are sort of in the A, not quite, maybe not the S, but they're in this because they define the chaos that he creates. And then the Christmas with Joker, because it also has this sentimental It's a Wonderful Life ending stuff where the kids get. And I got to be honest, when they slap the fish on top of Harley, the littlest one, she laughs out loud every time. It makes my day. So,
which I must say, Christmas with me never dull.
Definitely never dull. Definitely. So, and again, just origin stuff with Riddler, the Minotaur hand, the hand of the Minotaur is always, I think, and I would have to look at the timeline. I would be surprised if they wanted to move the Riddler to the forefront for Batman Forever if it hadn't been for that episode, because the episode really did condense Riddler in a way. And then around the same time, there's a great little comic book, like a 3-story arc called Dark City. Anyway, it's a Riddler story as well. It's really, really good. I'll look it up, make sure I don't butcher the name.
There's another episode that just popped into my head, and again, I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's the one where Bruce wakes up and his parents are alive. There is no Batcave. It's with Mad Hatter, I believe.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if that was called I Am the Night, or if that's the one where I Am Vengeance.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Yeah, I am. So
which I never got the chance to actually see him at a con, but I've seen videos of cons where Kevin Conroy and his queue line is just ginormous. It's going out the door. It's going around the building practically, and like every half hour, 45 minutes, he will just stand up and just say, "I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman," and the entire floor just erupts.
Okay, so the one we're talking about is called Perchance to Dream. And that's the one where Mad Hatter, which you don't know until the end, has given him what he always wanted. Given him his parents are alive, he's engaged to Selena Kyle, blah blah blah. He sees Batman swing by. Anyway, so that's the one that we're talking about, Perchance to Dream. And Perchance to Dream really needs to be in the A category. And I think Kevin Conroy is the one who said that is his favorite. I think that was his favorite one. I Am the Night, I'm not gonna argue as an A. Now, I Am the Night is the one where Gordon gets hurt because he's late to the stakeout. And Gordon is nearly going to die, and Batman is ready to give it all up. Like, if I can't keep Gordon safe, what's the point of doing this? And then at the end, because remember the guy gets away, you have that slow motion throwing of the Batarang. They don't use that effect anywhere else in this season, and that shot was perfectly designed for this moment because it helps be a metaphor for Batman kind of waking up out of this deluge that he put himself into. So very, very good. Very good choices for sure. So let me see here. Anything that jumps out at me is, there's so many of them that I would say deserve to be in that sort of category of
Ooh, I just remember I just saw the icon there, Moon of the Wolf.
Oh yeah, the Len Wein episode. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very, very good. Very solid. I don't know if it'll be an A tier for me.
No,
It's definitely it's in this A B
right.
situation, right? But yeah, super solid. Super solid. Love it a lot. So let's do something in reverse.
Okay.
What's your least? I want to say least favorite villain or least. Yeah, or something that you're just like not like a big fan of or something like that maybe.
Um, my least favorite villain of
I'm not a
all,
huge fan of their
Condiment
adaptation
King.
of Penguin. Condiment King. The Penguin isn't always my favorite. It takes a couple episodes for me to actually like the Penguin episodes. There's a couple that are like, yeah, for me. Not that they're bad, just they're just not
Right.
as great. Blind as a Bat, I think, is pretty good with that. There's another one, Birds. Where to go? Birds of a Feather. It's
Right.
just sort of like they're okay. you know.
He's there.
And actually, I'm going to put Cat in the Claw in that same category. Like, it's fine. It's an okay Catwoman story, but that's not the best. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like it's okay. You know. Let me see. What else
I
jumps out at
noticed.
me here?
Well, I I noticed you put Heart of Ice back down in the general
No. That's not the
area.
right one. That's a different
Oh.
icon. That's something. Heart of Ice is
Oh.
actually right here.
Oh.
I
Yes.
grabbed
Yes.
the
Yes.
wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I grabbed the wrong icon.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know exactly what that one's supposed to be. I can't. I wish they would tell us when you put the mouse over it because they're so small. I can't tell you what that
I
one
would
says.
say probably my least favorite villain is Scarface.
Okay, the ventriloquist episode. Yeah. Okay, yeah,
Not a big
that's not
fan
bad.
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that. That would be Read My Lips. We'll put Read My Lips in the C or D category
Yeah.
for you.
C's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, there's really not one episode that goes below a C level. I mean, it's. I mean, I don't really have any one episode that I'm just like, ew, I hate this episode.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something because I know when I would do a video, people were pointing out that even when it's one that I'm sort of like kind of like meh on, like
Right.
Tiger might be in that category. Like I'm like, it's all right. It was not. That's the one where they do like the genetic modifications
Mm,
to make them into creatures or whatever. So I would put
okay.
Tiger at the. I don't mean D, but I don't have. I don't even. There's not enough categories. We
Right.
need like an A minus and a whatever. I got to move Mechanic up because Mechanic doesn't get the credit it deserves because Earl is representative of all of the infrastructure that Batman would need to keep being Batman, and I
Right.
love the fact that it exists. It's not. There's not enough of that in the world in the comic book mythos.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Demon's Quest, is that the intro
Yeah,
to
that's
Raisha
that's yeah, yeah. It's the two-parter. Yeah, we got to put that up in this category up in here too.
because I mean, talk about it. Talk about a very under underrated bad guy there. I mean, he's Batman's equal in
Every
mental.
way.
Yeah.
What I like about that too is I did that review. I tried to really watch it for like the first time and realize what a great job they did. You know what I mean? Like it just really really good, really good.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. We have the brat girl down there.
You talking about?
I believe it's the top
Oh, this one.
row. Yeah.
See, I
Which
didn't get to that one. That's actually the next episode because technically, is it season one? Is it season two? It depends on the way that which set of numbering that you want to use.
right.
That's why I didn't get to that one yet.
See now, and a lot of folks equate Batgirl with Tara Strong, which is understandable. But she was not the original voice of Batgirl. That would
Right,
be Melissa. That would be Melissa Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Melissa Gilbert. Laura Ingalls Wilder.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a deep cut there.
It is. That's a good one though. That's a good one though. I'm gonna put next to the Moon and the Wolf. I'm gonna put the other Riddler episode, the one where he has the machine. They have to wear the helmets and they get Gordon stuck
Okay,
inside, so Batman has to go inside. I like that episode as well. Very, very solid.
very cool.
Um, See, the
Okay,
problem is like I don't know what they do badly. Like Fear of
right.
Victory, the Scarecrow episode, same thing.
Yes, yes.
Super solid episode. You get
Um,
to see Robin really get showcased for a change. Like, Robin's kind of
uh,
hit and miss of when they use him.
I'm looking at the icons here. Top row, fifth one in. Is that Bane?
That one is. I don't know what that one's supposed to be. Bane's not in the season one that I watched, so I think he comes
No,
along next. So, Be a Clown is the Joker one with the little kids party. That's so much
I
fun.
know.
So
It's
much fun.
just
Okay, so a bullet for Bullock probably is down here with Tiger Tiger. It's like the
okay.
weaker of the ones,
Yeah,
but again, this really needs to be like the C minus. Like it's still very, very smart and interesting. Like it really, really
right.
is. Cape and the Cow is the one where he has to give up the cape and the cow, and he has a
Yep.
little mask on underneath it. Super smart. Just on the twist alone, gets you.
Day of the Samurai. Is that where the
That's
one
the end
where
where he's called back to
Japan?
Japan because
Mhm.
they got the note and it's about the death move
Jack-
or whatever.
Yeah,
And they had that
the
volcano
death.
fight scene at the end.
Yes,
Yeah,
you would make
better than
fine.
both of those. Probably right
You
there
would
is where it probably needs to be.
you would make fine ninja. I prefer to be samurai. Batman, you're a ninja.
Hmm. How do you feel about this version of Zatanna? We don't get much of her in this season, but we do get a little bit. So
I honestly forgot that this episode exists, which is sad because I love Zatanna.
I know you do.
She's the on again, off again squeeze of Constantine. So
Hmm. Yeah, this episode it's similar. It's not as effective as like Mechanic, and it's alluded to in other ways. So it's sort of in this category here as well, of like how Batman was trained, learning to be a magician, learning how to be an escape
right,
artist, that kind of thing. So
because
I
because honestly, my favorite animated episode with her in it comes from Justice League, where at the end Kevin Conroy sings, where Batman
oh
sings.
yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that is just a fun episode.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, we need more Justice League episodes for sure.
Oh right.
So let me do Pretty Poison and move her back up here to B because obviously that's
Oh Ivy.
where she really is Poison Ivy, and it is pretty good, and it makes us hypocritical if we don't because it is that it's on par with the other ones. Like
Yes.
it's solid. Let's see.
Wait. I can't believe it. They have a episode of the origin of the Clock King.
Oh yeah, the Clock King episode though was it was actually again it's better than either one of those.
Right.
It's not quite as good as it's like right here. So it's one of these where because he's just a regular dude and he's just weird, but he's so smart. Like it really is.
Right.
It's done way better than I thought it would. And I remember watching it and thinking that, like, wow, that's not bad. Okay, here's the bottom of the list for me. This one I just did. Fire from Olympus. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the Zeus. That's the
ones.
Maxi Zeus. It's the final one of the
season. Okay.
And I really don't care for some of the animation and character designs of the Zeus characters. And there's still something just very strange about why is he like this? Like it's sort of explained, but not as well as other episodes are and stuff. So it's fine. I mean, like I said, it's better than many other episodes or any other shows for sure. So Heart of Steel is the one with the AI storyline, right?
Okay.
The Hardock, put that kind of in that sort of like Midland category. And Night of the Ninja is the other samurai story. I'm going to put it below the first one. I mean, I think I prefer this. I think I prefer the one with the volcano more than I prefer the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Where is I just saw the one with the off balance. So off
Oh,
balance is the one
oh,
we
oh,
get
oh, oh. Okay.
Talia. We get Talia for the
Yes.
first time, and that's the one where he gets the machine that makes the Earth sink or whatever. So
Hmm.
it's sort of like right here because of Talia being in it. Um,
Right.
yeah. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
The man who killed Batman.
Oh, yeah, Sid the Squid, man. Sid the Squid.
Yes.
Sid the Squid's got to go top shelf. He's got to be up in here somewhere because Sid the
Yes.
Squid. It's so
Unassuming, just an unassuming guy.
yeah, you just you almost see yourself as you almost like, oh my gosh, this is like we could be Sid the Squid. This is crazy. This is nuts.
Right.
Yeah. And then of course the way it ends with Arkham, right, where they all like, that's the dude that killed Batman. That dude almost
This
killed
is
Batman. Yeah.
and
Okay, bottom one for me would be the Underdwellers ones. That's the one where they're kidnapping the kids and
okay.
things like that. It's sort of like, yeah, it's all right, you know. Yeah.
Right.
Um, I think that's well, Robin's Reckoning. I got to figure out where to do with Robin's Reckoning. It's a nice two-parter. It it does a good job of trying to give us what the definition of Dick Grayson's story is going to be. I don't like the way part two is edited. It's just
Hmm.
they're flashing forward and back so many times. It kind of makes my pacing feel a little weird. I don't dislike
Right.
the story. It's just because their bar and their standard is so high. Any
Right.
little bit that's off, it just feels bigger than it actually is. So it actually feels more like it should be a C for me, but it's probably like a B minus kind of thing. But
Right.
that would be my biggest complaint with that one.
Definitely.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that jumps out at me. I'm sure I'm forgetting others. I mean, I recognize the names, but I'm also just kind of like I don't necessarily remember anything that special about them and that kind of thing.
What
I
was
think
the
we hit
one?
the nail on
Okay.
the head. Go ahead.
What was the one? That we may have already covered it in here, but but the guy who owes a Joker a favor. I'm trying to think which.
Yeah, I think we put that up. Joker's
Oh
favor is
yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah.
appearance
Okay.
because
Okay.
Harley Quinn she's the one she rolls the cake in when they attack the
Okay.
police thing, and he's
Yes.
he's responsible for locking the door.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I spaced out on that one. Sorry.
But see, that's so great that they. I mean, we do have our we have Grey Ghost and we have Almost Got Him, but we think about Two Face and Heart of Ice, what they do with Riddler, what they do with Man Bat, what they do with Clayface. Like this
Hmm.
show is definitively redefining the Batman Rogue Gallery for the masses,
Yes.
not not in a dumbing down way. It really,
No.
really kind of like coalesces things and makes it easier for because at this time, you got the DC Batman stuff is running on all cylinders, man. Denny O'Neil has got a machine over there with all of these different writers and artists and stuff like that. I'm going through the Nightfall series right now,
Okay.
and I'll be going through that after we're done because there's so much to it. Because I wanted people to know, and I think I feel like a couple of people have already responded with more respect for Bane. It's not just being this brawn, all the brain and the
Oh.
strategy and what
Oh
actually
yeah.
happens. So I'm like 5 or 6 issues into them being out of Arkham and just that seeing and reading that exhaustion and chaos that's happening to Batman and the arrogance. Like I can just keep going. It's like we know you can't keep going. Like
Right.
everyone around you knows you can't keep going. This is crazy. So good stuff. So what's the one episode? If I had to give you just one, you get to pop in one. Which one are you going to watch?
Heart of ice.
Ice top tier. Yeah.
No. It is. I mean, like you said, when you and Copo were here, and you talked for like an hour on just that one episode. It is that good. It
Yeah.
is just. I mean, that is a masterpiece.
Yeah, that is yeah, that one and Almost Got Him are kind of the two that we probably rewatch the most.
Hmm.
And because the kids like it so much, I do too. I actually, even though I have this as sort of like a lesser, the one with the Minotaur maze, the Riddler maze, I
Right.
I love I love the problem solving elements or whatever. In all of that kind of Batman being a detective that never gets
Right.
old to me for sure. So
Right.
yeah,
And I just I just go back to, and the reason Heart and like we both agreed earlier, Heart of Ice has just redefined who Mister Freeze is, to where, I mean, it was a just a little cartoon, and yet everything you see about Mister Freeze now is based off of that.
Yeah, he was a caricature of a Captain Cold guy with a gun. Like it was just a cheeky, silly type
Right.
character, and now he's an A-lister. Like
Yeah.
I think anytime you talk about who the villains are going to be, I don't think anyone is you know surprised if Mr. Freeze would be in that conversation now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And actually,
I
I
would.
want to see some of these rogue villains get their time and get their due. So
I mean, I would think that I would think that in some writing rooms or something. Well, maybe not current writing rooms, but when coming up with ideas, it's like, how can we get Mister Freeze in here? How can we get Mister Freeze? When are we going to get to Mister Freeze?
hmm hmm yeah, yeah. I I really can't imagine us continuing much longer with our current state. So I'm hopeful that we'll see people figuring out a way to tap into this and bring some of this stuff for
So
another generation of people. You know what I mean?
so right. So let me ask you this: do you have any optimism at all for James Gunn?
I mean, I think I have a lot of optimism for Creature Commandos because that's
Okay.
up his alley. Like
Right.
it's just a different version of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be an animated show. I think he's cheating and he's going to make the animated one. It's going to be really good. And then they'll tell us how they greenlit a live action one with many of those cast members. That's exactly what I think is going to happen with that one. My optimism on Superman Legacy is probably about 30%. I'm down to about
Really?
30%. I'm
Really?
not. All
Oh,
the other extraneous characters and stuff has really got me majorly apprehended. Like 50% of me is like, why do we have Metamorpho and
I
Nate Fillion, and why do we have all that in a Superman
I think
like
it's going to be now. I
story?
my now my now my optimistic
Yep,
part of me says those are going to be in like mid credit and credit scenes. That's what I'm hoping
sure.
for,
Yeah, yeah. No, I
because
think once we have more information, I'll probably be able to give you a better perspective on my feeling of it all. I
because
don't.
what it because for me, what I've seen from the casting, I've had no complaints about any of the casting at all.
I don't think there's been anything weird. I mean, obviously they went with a redheaded Jimmy Olsen, which was like, well, we broke that barrier. At least we're going back on task with that kind of thing. Like if you want other
Right.
black people in the movie, just hire some other black characters, tons of them. So, and
So
Mr. Terrific being one of those is actually a good choice. I think actually
yes,
Mr. Terrific needs to be brought into the DC universe. He's relevant to many of
a
these
lot of
like
storylines.
JSA
Right.
stories. Yeah, so many of them. So
I would say it,
we'll know more once we start filming and we start to see what like what's the suit going to look like. That was one of my big turnoffs with Zach,
just
with
just
Snyder's his set
just
the suit. We lost the trunks
just
and you saw some.
silver age costume, silver age costume,
Oh, I
silver
can
age
only hope
costume.
so. Yeah,
And I would
yeah.
I would be very um as far as like say someone who would do the score, if he gets someone like Alan Silvestri to do the
Mm,
score, I think
hmm
that would definitely give it a lot more punch, because I've listened to some of Alan's um pieces, and he's very much inspired by the
John
Williams.
Williams. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Who did the score on Guardians? Tyler Bates. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is
I
either.
don't know. I think once we get closer and I see what the suits look like, I start to get a
Okay.
feel for what the atmosphere. Because the other thing the other reason my optimism is still very very low is because it was promoted and it was pitched with the All Star Superman comic book, right?
Mm,
And that's not a story that lends itself to this young Superman legacy story. I don't there's a big gap between those two things that don't necessarily go together. I'm trying to figure out how to reconcile that. So until I do, I'm still very, very apprehensive. And as I planted my flag when I heard this news with Zach, so this company's broke. They got, I mean, we're talking about, we are literally like borrowing money to spending money to borrowing money. And
Well,
spending,
that's
they are
well, yeah,
literally, it's really bad over there. So the fact that they're trying to string together so much of this makes me very apprehensive about what will actually manifest. So
I
beyond those two projects, I tend to have everything else as sort of like a, we'll see.
right, and I understand that. My take on this is for the studios, because I think the Warner Brothers is moving this direction. Universal definitely has moved in this direction. Just don't do what the House of Mouse does. Just do the complete opposite of that.
Yeah, I don't think it's even that complicated. It's like, look, just make the stuff that has made money. Like I don't, if you want
Right,
to make your artsy fartsy crap like you always have, none of us are going to complain like we are now. It just doesn't fit with these certain IPs. Like it
right.
just doesn't. I don't understand. Make the $300 million to $1 billion project now, and that will pay for these 20, 30, $40 million projects over there. It's
So
been the formula all along. Why are they? Quit putting the two together. So
have you seen Godzilla minus one?
no, I have not. It is by far getting so much love, and I can't wait to see it. It's
Which
yeah.
I was talking with the I was talking with Cannoli, and this film, and then last year with RRR, kind of putting Hollywood on notice. It's like, look, we can make stuff just as good as you guys can.
Well, let's add Sisu to the list.
I have
Did you
not
get a
seen that
chance to
yet.
see? Yeah,
I haven't
Sisu
seen
is
it.
it's a hard one to find. But yeah, Sisu is also sort of a what did Loki call it? Rambo's grandfather refuses to die, and I'm like, all right, yeah,
And
yeah.
it gave you your most probably one of your favorite
Most
clips ever.
popular clips, yes, the landmine to the face. Yes, we do. We have, and we have it on standby for those of you at home. It makes me very happy because that's the best way to represent what happens in my brain sometimes. And to this day, it just makes me WTF. From the first time I saw it to now, I'm just like, I want to know, like, just landmine flies to fate. Like, I don't know what the lines. I want that line on a shirt.
In the
That's all I
script,
want.
right?
Like that. I want those that
Landmine to the
script
face.
something. Yes. Yeah. No, I think that we have many of us have said like the finances don't go on forever because there are shareholders.
Right.
We all know about what's happening with the Mouse House right now, getting caught with their pants down. The books
Ooh,
are
big
open.
time.
It's going to get worse before it gets better. I don't know. I don't expect people to go to jail or anything like that, but I do expect some
Mm,
people to no longer hold certain positions
I,
and be put on
I,
notice.
well,
Yeah.
I expect some fall guys to happen, and the people who should be going to jail won't be.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. There could be some bizarre accountant or something like that that's given. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get you there. So, I really couldn't agree more too about. Well, let me say this with the tenor here in Florida, and I don't know if I've said that. I know I talked to somebody about this, but I didn't. I don't know if I've said it on a show or a stream. But I was in my work's break room and hearing people complaining about Disney prices, not going to Disney, and they were going to Universal. And these were like uber normies. Like they're not
Mhm.
even plugged into all of the complaints we have. This was literally just brand recognition and price. That's
Mhm.
it. And these two people were going back and forth and just piling the gasoline on one another's complaints. And it was glorious. I just sitting there doing my thing, eavesdropping in this whole conversation. Just it was beautiful.
Right.
You know, and And I think too, I met two people today that I work with this whole time. Didn't know they are this as equally disenfranchised and angry about Star Wars as we are. But they don't tell it. They're not. They're just not Star Wars first people. They're like,
Right.
yeah, I don't really like Star Wars. It's like, I mean, I like Star Wars, but it's like not, it's not their thing. One guy's a massive sports guy, right? So
Right.
Star Wars is like okay for him. He's like, when I watched this one, nothing ever happened, and I'm like, welcome to the Pops brand. Yes, yes, yes. So I know the market is what we see.
Ship.
I know we're
Right.
being true honest brokers in analysis, and we hold all this up to something like this show. To segue back to our show, this is why Batman Animated Series needs to be talked about and elevated because people need to know. First off, it gives you something great to watch in the meantime
Right.
while the rest of this crap gets fixed, and then two.
Right.
You have to know that's why I am very tough as a critic. I think you're very tough as a critic. We were very skeptical sometimes of what should be called great, let alone good, is because
Right.
this is that great. And when these bottom episodes, when I pull up our little chart and I start looking at Night of Ninja or Heart of Steel, I would much rather watch those than have to sit through Ahsoka again or some of this other crap. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I did my
Right.
part. I fell on the sword. I watched it so you people didn't have to. Done. Okay. Now I'm getting ready to head back into Halo soon because Halo drops in February. So yes, I'll be doing Halo again. I
And
don't.
this is what I've been doing this month because I refuse to watch anything Doctor Who like Jodie or
Right.
these 60th anniversary episodes. I refuse. I'm not watching them. So for this month, because everyone's talking about these 60th anniversary episodes, I'm going back to episodes that I love, and
Mhm.
that includes like some of the Christmas specials and whatnot. So I am just kind of like you with this. I'm like I'm going back to what I love, and I'm just going to talk about stuff I love for a month.
Yeah, I got to be honest. The writer's strike and stuff like this slowed the pace down so much for stuff for us to do that it gave me a chance to binge in order. And I make sure I clarify that because I have watched Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, but I sat and we all of it in order because there's plenty of time. There's no like, what it's like. How many shows do you watch? Like I had like 30 minutes a week. It was all that was happening, right? So it was like hardly anything. So I've binge watched all of this great stuff. It was great because then it was in my mind's eye to recommend to other people. So I turned people
Right.
on to Reacher and Terminal List. And, what do you mean you're not caught up on Cobra Kai? What do you mean you never watched Wednesday? Like, come on, get in One Piece. I feel like I need to run around with I need to be part of like the advertising residuals for One Piece because once I watched it, I've told dozens of people by now. So, yeah.
Okay, that series I got through like 2 episodes, and I just haven't been able to get back to it.
It
It's
is
not
so strange and odd. I totally get it. But I'm telling you what, when you start getting into the depth of like the fourth episode and then the way these characters start growing on you and you start caring in ways you're like, man, I haven't felt this connected to people in a minute. This is some really good stuff. My wife likes it. My wife hates everything. You think I hate on stuff, folks? Mrs. Pops hates everything.
You know what it is about it is it's stretchy powers. They
It's weird,
never
isn't it? Mhm.
they never translate to live action well.
He though is there are a couple of scenes, I don't know which ones you've gotten to, but there's a couple moments where he's like,
I just went to the first 2 episodes.
okay,
That's
so there's a
all I've
couple scenes
watched.
where he does something and either another character or he'll say something like, I didn't know I could do that. Like it's just, you see him like feeling out what he's actually capable of doing, or he's trying to do
Right.
different things and stuff. It is a little, first off, it is definitely an odd and quirky show. No doubt about it. And
Right.
when I watched it the second time, I kept thinking to myself, I can't believe I'm really watching this show. And I can't get through the anime. I know people love it. I get it. But that type of weird, crazy zaniness in the anime form with the way their animation is, I just can't connect and resonate with the characters
Gotcha.
in the same way. But I do respect it. I get it. But like when I watched Castle of Cagliostro, their animation style was not as exaggerated, so it was way easier to
Gotcha.
get through that. I really enjoy that movie. I really I'll watch it again, right? So there is a difference even in anime with how exaggerated or in your face some of those techniques are.
Right.
So yeah.
Um, a series I may go back to because I thought this and our love of animation, this was just a banger series. Was Arcane.
Yeah, I need to get through Arcane. I've started and stopped twice, and I don't even have a reasonable explanation. Just stuff getting in the way. It's like it's not a priority, and I just end up getting distracted and
Right.
getting away from it. That's on the top of the list of things to get to. And I got to be honest, another one that people don't talk about that I really have enjoyed. I'm only a couple episodes in, and I got distracted. That is Samurai Jack. Anyone else out there, y'all like Samurai Jack? Because somebody turned me on to Samurai Jack, and I started watching it, and I
Tartakovsky.
was like, I'm like,
Tartakovsky.
I'm like, whoa, this is really, really good. And it was like, I think what it is I have to really pay attention.
Right.
And that's not always
Did
conducive
you?
to my schedules when I can pay that level of detail to it. So, yeah.
He does another series that's on Max called called Primal.
Okay. Okay. I've seen that on there. Yeah.
Great storytelling. There's no dialogue.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm glad you told me that because I'd be like frustrated, man. Because it's sometimes watching isn't like glued to the TV. It's like I'm doing
Right.
other things. So that's and I
Yeah.
don't want I don't want to do something that would be disservice to the product. I want it to be as what it was intended to be. So
But
yeah,
yeah,
good
definitely check
stuff.
that out. Definitely check.
Okay,
And I know you and I are excited for the second season of the Wednesday.
definitely Wednesday. I'm going to rewatch House of Dragon. I know you liked it way more than I did.
Oh,
I
so
am
good.
going to watch it again and try to be more fair, be a little more open minded to the some of my issues. Again, my issues were degrees of things. I was not trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't hate the show or anything like that. I'm looking forward to it. I know there's another season of Last of Us. I don't hate season one. I think a lot of people who really loved it more than me. I was like, I got a lot of plot issues, a lot of issues, but so there are good things. You just kind of have to
Let me
swim through
guess.
a sea of 4, 5, 6. I'm watching The Bookie. It's entertained me. It's a little comedy. It's a Sebastian Maniscalco is a comedian that I was familiar with, so it's right up his alleyway. That kind of thing. So yeah,
I know,
yeah.
but I know you're excited for the second season of Secret Invasion.
I
I know
don't
you're definitely
even
excited.
want to talk about anything out of the Disney Mouse house right now. Like my life is so good. I feel like once I did that stream, I feel like once I did that stream with the Marvels,
Oh
I felt like
God.
my work here is done because
It's
I hated it, but I felt like I was more fair than some other people's reviews because some people were just like went all crazy fiery about this movie. I'm like, this movie was
yeah.
not nearly as bad as some of the other ones. Like Captain Marvel is way more off-putting of a movie to sit through. It's really hard to
Right.
get through compared to this
Thor
one because
4,
it's 90
Love and
minutes. It
Thunder. Right.
did. Well, Black Widow for me, like
Oh,
when you see Black Widow and you're like they're humans, and your brain pops, and you're like they can't survive anything that's ever happening around them. I can't watch it. And I fell
yeah.
asleep during Eternals. I'm still not going to let them get a pass on the fact that I nodded off in a Marvel movie. You've done something terribly wrong if I've nodded off. Okay, that's you. I am the target audience, but I felt since Marvels, I haven't really lost. I saw like spoiler stuff, set photos for Deadpool 3, and I kind of pulled it up to do a video, and then I just lost interest. Like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I don't. I'm in a very apathetic phase with it all. I know it's burning down and all this stuff. I was like, I can just keep. I got Valiant and Legal Mindset on like two
Oh yeah.
times two speed to keep up with
Oh yeah.
what's going on, and I'm good. So I know what's going on, but I don't want to do a video. I'm a nobody repeating what they're saying. You're covering it
Which
on a
is
weekly basis. That's good
yeah.
enough for me. There's no more. There's no room for pops. I'm good. I'm good. So yeah.
because Pops is here for Pops is here for cartoons. Which is great.
I,
I,
I, I probably
I
should
love
do
the
more cartoon content. It's it's not it's not great for business, if you will. Like it's not a hit.
Right.
It's not a hit getter, but
Right.
it is fun and it's healthy for my soul.
Yes.
I'll be probably back at Batman animated series probably sooner than later because of the Halo effect. Because Halo is going
Okay.
to be so bad. Like I have such little faith. I could be wrong. Maybe
Right.
it'll be good. But I assume because we already agreed. So if, for all of you who don't know, Talk Hard before Talk Hard was Talk Hard, we were doing a review of Halo, and then the show has continued ever since. And we've agreed that we're going to do season 2. We've got Loki strapped into a chair, very Clockwork Orange like. It is what it is. He wanted to make sure that we dusted off and had a primer of what all the nicknames are, so we know we're giving the characters their due respect. And we agreed since Ironcaster
Oh
has
God.
never seen this, so we all
Oh
agreed
no.
that when it's over, we're gonna watch Aliens. He's never even seen Aliens, bro. So that's our palate cleanser for
Well,
Talk
well,
Hard.
yeah. Well, that doesn't surprise me because he's too busy watching films about sharks on the moon or something.
That's true. He's got a little Tubi thing, by the way. So got a feeling that season 2 Batman animated series will be my palate cleanser come it's probably like early April or so, and that will be needed
Okay.
to be sort of like popped in there. But yeah, no, I've had this conversation now with several people, and now that they see it, it's like the lights are on. Is all of event television's gone, right? There's like just there's I mean I guess House of Dragon drops at 8 o'clock or whatever, and that's good for X number of people. But if you don't have Max or whatever, and it's just not quite the same. There's no more Saturday morning cartoons. There's no more. It's just all these things are gone, and now people are starting to see some of this kind of stuff. And I think this is where the cultural part. I'm waiting for the pendulum to wake up, and I'm waiting for someone to go. I can bring that back and make money on it. That's what
Right.
I'm thinking. I'm like trying. How can we
Well,
make money? You know what I mean? Because
well,
people are going to be thirsty for something like that. They just don't know it yet.
the only thing the thing about House of the Dragon is it's not exclusively on Max. It's also on regular HBO as well. So that does help give it a more event.
Sure. Okay, that's fair. And there's been a few channels and a few shows that are like that. They drop at a certain time. It's a prime time slot,
Mm-hmm.
not this 2 to 5 a.m. nonsense, things like that. So that does help with the event watching.
which
Um,
which
yeah.
which doesn't affect me at all because that's when I'm at work and I'm watching that stuff. So
Yeah, and again, that does again feed into why I got so apathetic because at some point I just I don't really care about Secret Invasion. No one else really
no,
does. Loki season 2 was such a wet fart. Like no one freaking
I
cared by the end. I just
I did not watch. I am happy to say I did not watch 1 minute of that show.
it's 30 minutes of time. There's 30 minutes of story there. It's not even my normal hour and a half of story. Like no, like there literally is just let's rewrite everything we did in season 1 into this 1.5 episode kind of thing. It's so
And the
it's one of
fact
those things
and
where you're gonna have all these people trying to excuse it all away, and I'm like, see, that doesn't really matter though because this happened, and that's where
right,
it's like this constant circle of yeah, but and
right,
even Lady Loki, she no longer matters. Like she completely has been
the
rewritten out of the
Enchantress,
show to really matter. She's not even
the
an
Enchantress.
enchantress, bro. No, she is completely like reduced to like JV version of relevance. It's
Oh
so
no,
weird and strange, and I feel bad for this actress because they down like many of these actresses, they don't want them to look feminine. They started
no,
making her look like trailer park
frumpy.
trashy. Like
Yeah,
yeah, well frumpy, but also like her hair and how her costuming was. It's like ugh, I don't understand it because she's not an unattractive lady, and yet they make
no.
them look this way. It's just yeah, several shows keep doing things like that. It just really
And I
bothers me. Yeah.
and I had heard that they wrote the clock as a really creepy kind of pervy character, almost very odd.
Yeah, but then it doesn't matter.
Right.
So it's in the middle of the season. It doesn't matter at all. Like it's like this. Okay, this happens in episode 1, and I remember they ignore the big problem to deal with, like the fact that he's time slipping. And I remember doing the video and I think I said something along the lines like, "Well, I got a feeling that this will come back, but it doesn't matter right now because we're gonna get to the actual story of dealing with the actual crisis." Well, little did I know None of that matters from episode 2 all the way to the very one before that. None of that actually matters because when you get to the end, that's where the story actually picks up. And it's retroactive to the end of season 1. So technically, we only needed like 30 to 45 minutes of show. We didn't even need these other 4 episodes. There's nothing there that really happens
that makes my brain hurt. That makes my brain
exactly.
hurt.
That's what this is where we're at with everything that's coming out of that company. There, again, it's content. It's sit there like drones and consume your gruel. Take your gruel, hope for some fruit, but you only get gruel. And I'm just
maybe a raisin.
Yeah, I'd rather watch Tiger, and what was the other one? Underdwellers.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, brother, this has been amazing. It's always great to catch up with you. We probably should do this regularly. I know our schedules run in opposite directions sometimes, but Batman animated series, man, it's been such a blast. I'm so glad that I don't know why it popped into my brain to do this other than the 30th anniversary thing, but it has given me a year of weekly pleasantries.
Yes,
for sure.
There you go.
If you are looking for stuff, folks, I'm telling you, the least of these episodes are superior to most things that are made. So it's great. So
true story.
Are you doing the regular? Let's plug a little bit about your regular schedule and some of your streaming shows and stuff that you're doing now, because you're kind of got like a kind of a nice rhythm going.
A little bit, yeah. I will. There's no Roman of the Empire. Well, I don't know when this is going to air. So for this week, at the time of recording, there is no Roman of the Empire this week, but you can normally catch me there on Thursdays.
Yeah, on the 14th, there's a Doctor Who one, and on the 21st, it's a Christmas one. There you go. So don't worry about it. So if before or after you're watching this, if you need the link to Roman, 21st. You don't want to miss the 21st one. That's the Christmas one. That's my last show of the year. I'll be doing my live stream right before that one to lead into Roman's show. My last live stream going on his show. Great stuff.
And then on Mondays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Pacific, Legion Talk Monday. We started with House of the Dragon season, House of the Dragon episode 9, went right to the finale, and then we just decided let's just do Game of Thrones. So we are in season 6. We'll be doing episode 7 on the Monday. And then Friday night's Royal Rumble, just kind of a weekend pop culture wrap up. And then Mondays I do last week's news now, where I talk about give you little headlines of stories you might have missed. And for the rest of this month, we'll be doing Christmas specials and episodes of Doctor Who from the time of 2005 to 2014. Episodes that I have liked, and that's going to take me through to the end of the year, which December 30th is my 2-year anniversary.
Oh, man. Congratulations. That's so much fun.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. Folks, everything is in the description. Get all your links. Connect to this guy right here for sure.
May I say?
Absolutely.
So I've also got my fundraiser going through the end, through December 20th. I've got this shirt here. There's the other one that I can't show because it says a naughty word. So, and I can't show that.
It's the B word. They all know what it is. But make sure you're getting connected there to Joker's fundraising as well. # keep talking. They've seen my shirt. They know. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, brother, this has been amazing. And folks, like I said, hang with us there with Batman Animated Series. We'll get back to it for sure. Great list. Love to hear from you guys. Which ones are your favorite? It's funny how many people have responded to, this is one of my favorites, this is one of my favorites, this is one of my favorites. And it's kind of a smattering. And there's no way I can do it justice. Many of you are so frustrated that we didn't mention your favorite episode or didn't talk about a certain character a certain way, whatever. It's 60 episodes in season 1, so I don't know. We're doing what we can here, people. We're doing what we can.
Right.
And if we didn't have the memory prompt of these silly little icons, if they could make these freaking icons bigger, that would have helped me. But I didn't know what else to do. But I can just tell you, folks, it's a great use of your time, and that's not an easy thing or a common thing that we say these days. But Joker Voice, my brother, thank you so much for doing this. Be blessed. Talk hard, and until next time, take care, everybody. I am Pops.
Toodles.